This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, students mind their manners when it comes to fine dining.
To have everyone know that there's still hope and you can keep fighting.
Cobbers come together to remember survivors and victims of an all too familiar disease. We'll take a closer look at Concordia's Relay for Life.
Watch some first responders gain first-hand experience at EMT training.
But first,
it's pretty sad. It's pretty, disappointing.
An inside look at how budget cuts are affecting broadcast students in Grand Forks. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Tyrell Philly.
And I'm Betsy Harmson.
The University of North Dakota is facing some tough budget cuts, with golf and baseball gone after this year.
Other long-standing programs are not safe from the chopping block. Jared Schumacher went behind the scenes to see the final days of a UND program.
Since February of 1987, UND Studio One has won over 700 awards. During that time, hundreds of students have come through and have gotten hands-on experience with TV production.
And welcome to Studio One.
But now, Studio One is approaching their final episode. Because of falling oil prices, the state of North Dakota had to make cuts.
I'm definitely, shocked, kind of in disbelief. It's definitely a thing that impacts not only staff, but students, this whole university as a whole. And I think it's just really sad to see that other students won't get the same opportunity.
The cuts trickled down to UND cutting staff at numerous programs, such as baseball, golf, and Studio One.
People are saying, the administrators are saying, we need to preserve the student experience. And I learned more in 2 months here than I've learned at any comm textbook from any teacher you've hired here.
It's all about the student experience, and if a university is for student experience, Studio One is definitely something you should keep.
Studio One offers more than just TV skills.
It's not just this television show, it is this value system, and it is this experience that people are getting, and that translates into a lot of different forms. So that's the piece that we're really working to preserve, because I think that's the most critical piece.
It's pretty sad, it's pretty, disappointing, not only for me, but for staff, because, I've grown such relationships with everyone around here in the TV center. It sucks to see something like this kind of fall apart, but I think we can look to the future and hope for something to happen again.
From all of us at Studio One, have a great week.
So that's a wrap on Studio One's show. With the final episode coming closer, the crew is going to make it their best.
Let's treat each show like it's our last. Have a great one, and let's make Studio One proud.
Jared Schumacher.
This is Studio One.
Campus News.
In addition to losing Studio One, the UND Television Center is also cutting 2 full-time staff members.
After budget cuts have already eliminated the golf program, there's fear that cuts may be affecting golf in the entire community. The University of North Dakota will search for new management to run the Ray Richards golf course. Although the UND-owned and operated course opened for the season earlier this month, a post on their Facebook page states that if new management is not brought on, the course will not reopen for the 2017 season. The university will look for a new group or individual to run the course, but does not have any plans of selling it.
Journalism and athletics are not the only programs feeling the budget crunch. UND's music therapy program is also facing elimination. The president of the American Music Therapy Association says the university's suspension of the program is wrong. UND's music therapy program may be cut. The university is also looking to trim over $12 million. No new students are being accepted into the program, but current students will be able to continue their degree. The program director disagrees with the information used when deciding what programs to cut. Police in the Fargo-Moorhead area are cracking down on distracted driving, which means more citations could be issued to young drivers.
Reporter Levi Lass asked Fargo Police what it would take to autocorrect the issue.
Cell phones. You see people using them everywhere, even while operating a vehicle. It's called distracted driving, and it's the cause of 1.6 million crashes each year, according to the National Safety Council. That's why North Dakota and Minnesota police are increasing distracted driving enforcement.
Obviously, texting and driving is a serious issue. It ranks up there right now with drinking and driving as far as, dangerous habits for driving.
Moorhead police have taken to using tactics like riding in school buses to get new perspectives on the road. and to catch distracted drivers in the act. The citation for a distracted driving first offense in North Dakota is $100. In Minnesota, $135, which gets pricey for those most affected by texting on the road. College students.
You're moving this like 2-ton vehicle down the road at like 60 miles an hour and you're not even looking where you're going. It's pretty dangerous. So I mean, if it's going to be effective, you have to have at least $100 for the fine.
It's not just you out there, so you got to keep that in mind.
On MSUM's campus, public safety officers don't issue traffic citations, but are adamant about making sure students know the dangers of texting while driving.
16 to 24-year-old group that seems to be the highest targeted, but also the most out there on the road using that.
Area police and campus security want everyone to remember distracted driving is dangerous, and returning a text isn't worth your life. Levi Lass.
Please try your call again later.
Campus News.
Goodbye.
The Fargo Police Distracted Driving campaign began in early April and will run until September.
The new Bell Museum of Natural History at the University of Minnesota's Minneapolis campus is moving to a new location with new bells and whistles, but at a steep price, almost $80 million. The new complex will feature a public planetarium, making it the only one in the Twin Cities. The new space will also have dioramas of the North Woods of Minnesota and its prairies as well as native plants. The new site is at the northern edge of the U of M's St. Paul campus.
High school students from around North Dakota gather at NDSU to show off their projects to other students. The projects are inside the Memorial Union Ballroom, all ready for the North Dakota Science Olympiad. Some of the projects include a robotic arm, a rubber band plane, and a 3D printer. Rolla High School senior Paul Curdy built his own robotic arm. The North Dakota Science Olympiad has been going for 33 years. Many professions require hands-on training, but for emergency medical technicians, it's crucial.
That's why the North Dakota State College of Science in Fargo has teamed up with FM Ambulance to help students prepare for this fast-paced career. Reporter Alyssa Eidsness shows us what it takes for an EMT training.
Every day is different for Josh Zedeca.
Airbags are deployed, he's restrained in there.
Zedeca is learning how to be a first responder in a 911 emergency.
Any updates on the extrication, Bob? We're seeing increased need for basically all allied health career fields right now. So nursing, paramedic, OC health, all these programs are in high demand.
For a car versus tree.
Fargo Moorhead is growing faster than ever. As baby boomers age, there's more need for people working in the medical field.
EMS providers is also expanding. Traditionally, we've been focused on emergent 911 services, but now we're expanding into community paramedicine and providing other opportunities.
He's going to start an IV since we're waiting on the extrication.
It's an intense job. You have to think fast on your feet.
You don't kind of freeze up, you don't get really nervous, you kind of think back and you're like, okay, this is what we did in lab and this is what I'm going to do here.
EMS instructor Thomas Dobrzinski says more and more people are using the 911 emergency system.
All right, good.
By gaining more people like Zedeca in the medical world, they hope it'll help cut the cost of ER expenses. With photographer Skylar Zach, Alyssa Eidsness, Campus News.
The EMS program is a 2-year degree. NDSU also offers other EMS certificates. Some students at NDSU are bringing their ideas to life to make a difference in the community. The group is called Freedom by Design and helps design ramps for people with disabilities. All the students involved are architect majors. The group uses a 3D printer to take a blueprint and create a miniature design. The 3D printer helps the students design the ramp to get a better idea of what it will look like.
We're able to design the ramp kind of sight on scene and see exactly how it's going to function before we even start building.
The 3D printer is free to all students on NDSU's campus. Many students spent the day out of the classroom presenting projects they've spent months on, but one MSUM student presented a project he's been researching for most of his college career.
Reporter Derek Barkowitz brings us the story from the MSUM Student Academic Conference.
The annual Student Academic Conference serves as a day for students to exhibit research, projects, and other endeavors they worked on throughout their academic career. For MSUM Physics senior Ben LeMay, the conference gives him the chance to educate others on his research, on how to properly execute and aquaponics lab.
You don't have to use a lot of fertilizers and that sort of thing. And you get two cash crops. You get the crops that you're growing and the fish.
LeMay has been working with aquaponics systems for 2 years. He hopes his presentation shows listeners how a particular type of microcontroller, called Arduino, helps the aquaponics system run better.
We were able to develop consistent and accurate data collection tools using Arduinos. A lot of thermal energy.
The most important presentation for LeMay was his senior project about heat transfer in Windows. He spent a year reading dozens of textbooks and reviewing decades worth of data on the subject.
On the x-axis, we have air gap distance.
LeMay says he was glad he was able to present at the Student Academic Conference.
My audience is all physics majors. I'm sure you guys can do the algebra.
With photographer Samantha Stark, Derek Barkowitz, Campus News.
The Student Academic Conference at MSUM began in 1998. This year, nearly 300 students presented their research.
For deaf people all around the world, communicating can be a daily challenge. 2 sophomores at the University of Washington have created gloves that translate American Sign Language into text or speech. The inventors won $10,000 from the Lemelson MIT Student Prize for their invention, Sign Aloud.
Hello. My name is Thomas.
The gloves record gestures that send the information to a computer via Bluetooth. If the data matches the recorded sign, the word or phrase is said through a speaker. The gloves are lightweight and can be used throughout the day, similar to hearing aids or contact lenses. The MSUM dining service is taking extra steps to help students follow religious dietary requirements.
Reporter Taimur Sati takes us to a dining hall to see how halal meats make their way to students' plates.
This is a place where students all over MSUM campus come to eat. A place where beef and chicken is served every day, but not everybody can eat it. Kizi is the only dining center on campus. Freshman Sadman Saqib, who is a Muslim, raised the voice to bring the halal chicken and beef so that he can have the meat as well.
I like to order one halal burger. I'm mostly concealed with halal food because that's the food I'm actually allowed to have according to my religion, so yeah.
MSUM food provider Sodexo is not only taking care of majority, but is also fulfilling the needs of the many Muslims on campus by providing them the halal meat.
Halal Meat is a new program this year that we've started. Students can come request cook to order. It's just one extra step, but it's an easy step.
Halal meat is different from the normal meat, which normally people eat.
I am checking the temp.
The halal happens during the preparation. It's just before the animal is prepared. It has to be blessed. So if it isn't blessed, then we do not consider it halal.
According to the Sodexo sous chef, Sarah Stensland, she has just learned a new culture of halal meat.
Cooking is always something that there's always going to be room to learn new things. That was this year for me, learning about halal meat, about the Muslim culture, and how we can make that impact just a little bit.
They have taken the best step for us and they are just caring for us.
Now Sodexo is taking care of students by providing them a wide range of options. With photographer Marina Vireskan, Taimur Sati, Campus News.
Sodexo plans to take further steps if more Muslim students get meal plans in the coming years. To most people, Battleship is just a childhood board game, but MSU Moorhead brings the game to life. Reporter Sarah Erickson went to the Nemzek pool to see for herself what the wild event was all about.
The bleachers are full and competitors are ready to go. Water is flying in all directions as MSUM Battleship H2O competition begins.
We do our best job at recreating the live version of the game board. And the objective is for other teams to sink each other using the buckets by filling each other's canoes with water.
Some teams came up with strategies, and staying afloat was only a matter of one key thing.
Stabilization. That's honestly all it took, as we just balanced ourselves out and it worked for us.
As for others, they weren't as lucky, for balancing wasn't their strong suit. But the crowds get excited when more canoes sink and the competition gets harder. For some people, that's why they come to this event.
Just watching the look of defeat on people's faces as they sink, it's like, yeah, you're done. You're done. Just seeing people go down.
The competition may be tough, with only one team winning, but that doesn't stop some students from wanting to come back for more.
It was really fun, actually. I would totally do it again. I loved it.
We should do this like every month.
At MSUM, this wet and wild event brings a whole new meaning to the game Battleship. Sarah Erickson, Campus News.
28 teams took part in the naval festivities. Battleship H2O has been an annual tradition for 4 years.
Students at MSUM are taking initiative to give artists a head start in production. Eli Plunkett shows us some creative collaborators.
A group of talented MSUM students have come together for the greater good.
Greater Good is a kind of creative collective that we have a whole bunch of talented people from different medias, video, audio, graphic design. We all come together so that we can create something better than what we could create individually.
These students hope to provide clients with a one-stop shop for their audio, visual, and designing needs.
Things like branding, video production, audio production, photo manipulation, all those things get rather expensive if you try to go out and get them professionally done. So here at Greater Good, we are able to do it at a much cheaper cost for clients, and it's all under one roof, so it makes it super easy.
Greater Good Creative Collective has been in the process of creating a working marketing plan to provide businesses and artists in the area with essential services.
We offer professional audio production services including recording, mixing and mastering, songwriting, composition. We can combine these with the rest of our in-house services in order to create a full production or any customizable package that a customer is looking for.
All the members of the Greater Good Creative Collective aim to help many other artists get their start in the area. Eli Plunkett, Campus News.
The group will continue to build the brand and hope to reach out to more clients soon. Concordia's Relay for Life event draws in the community to help fight cancer.
But what are the stories of people working the event? Reporter Tyler Jensen introduces us to some of the volunteers' fights with cancer.
For many, cancer doesn't hit them, but rather those they care about. Before the president of Concordia's Relay for Life was even born, cancer took away her grandfather. As a child, Amber Schock went to relays with her grandmother. She says the purpose of the relay isn't just raising money, it's raising hope.
And just to have everyone know that there's still hope and you can keep fighting, and that one day we'll find a cure.
The relay included walking laps around the track, and attendees could decorate the space.
If people want to add to the decorations here at Relay for Life, they could come over to this table and decorate their own luminary.
Cancer survivors like Kylie Seljevold also shared their stories with attendees.
I'm really blessed that I don't know that I'm one of the fortunate ones that survived this, and I'm doing just fine today.
For the rest of the day and evening, people would be together celebrating life and trying to raise money to end the disease. With photographer Skylar Zach, Tyler Jensen, Campus News.
Fundraising teams from different colleges in Moorhead participated in the event. Altogether, Relay for Life has raised over $5 billion since 1985.
And now we turn it over to Haley Foster for a look at this week's sports. Haley, Carson Wentz has been in Chicago all week for the NFL draft.
That's right, Betsy, and Bison fans are following his story very closely. And the wait is finally over. Carson Wentz is packing his bags and heading to Philadelphia to play for the Eagles. Historically, Wentz joins FCS quarterbacks Steve McNair and Joe Flacco to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I went to a local watch party to see how Bison faithfuls are taking the news. NDSU supporters packed into local restaurant The Turf in Fargo, eagerly awaiting to see who North Dakota standout Carson Wentz will be playing for during his rookie season in the NFL.
He is really representing our state. It's unbelievable.
Bison fans had their phones and their horns up, ready to document Wentz's ascent into the big leagues.
With the second pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, yes! The Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz.
Wentz was the #2 pick this year, making him the highest picked FCS player in the history of the NFL draft.
It's unbelievable that Steve McNair got picked third, and I can't believe Carson Wentz beat that.
It's pretty special to see him go, especially watching him play the last 2 years. It's pretty inspiring.
So what does this mean for Wentz fans? Will the state of North Dakota suddenly be overrun by Eagles jerseys?
I'll have to buy a Wentz jersey for sure.
You're dang right, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm gonna support Carson however far he goes.
These Bison fans have high expectations for Wentz's rookie season and think he will soar with his new team.
I honestly believe he can be one of the best players in the NFL.
They keep projecting him to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I keep hearing him, they say he's going to be around for 15 years or so. So I'm really excited to watch the NFL for the next few years.
You can catch rounds 4 through 7 today starting at 11 a.m. on ESPN. The University of North Dakota baseball team isn't ready to hang up its cleats just yet. After being told the program would shut down at the end of this season, players are looking for a way to keep the program alive. UND interim president Ed Schaefer told players he's been looking for a way to find sustainable funding for the program. Head coach Jeff Dodson has confirmed there is a fundraising plan. The team will need to raise $530,000 by August 30th in order to compete in the 2017 season. After losing its top defenseman, the University of North Dakota men's hockey team is breathing a sigh of relief after 2 key players announced they will stay in Grand Forks. UND standout Tucker Poolman has announced he will return to the Fighting Hawks roster for his junior year. Poolman gives UND a veteran presence in the back end and was leading scorer for his team in the postseason. Goalie Cam Johnson also said he's returning for his junior season. Johnson helped lead the Fighting Hawks to its 8th national title earlier this month. With the track and field season coming to an end, one Concordia College athlete looks to finish strong and qualify for nationals. At the annual Cobber Twilight track and field meet, decathlon athlete Jackson Shep, who finished up his indoor season with being named Best All-Around Athlete, hopes to join his teammates at nationals.
We got a couple of guys on our team here who are kind of either on the bubble or just trying to qualify this year, and I'm hoping to do the same thing for myself. Obviously nothing's a guarantee, which is why we got to put in time and energy and focus and just kind of got to get things done.
Shep's current high score is 5,900 points. He's looking to get 6,200 points to reach nationals. The season for Shep and his fellow Cobbers will come to an end on May 7th before they start their postseason meets. The NDSU Bison football team have won 5 straight national championships, but with some key players graduating, can they capture another? Reporter Tanner Robinson previews the Bison's quest for 6.
Inside the Fargo Dome on a cold April day, the NDSU football team prepares for the upcoming season. The Bison are looking to capture their 6th straight national title, but they will have to do so without the services of former quarterback Carson Wentz, who is now headed to the NFL. New starting quarterback Easton Stick says that his adjustment from backup to starter will be a big change, but he is up to the challenge.
It's definitely a little bit different, but at the same time, I'm preparing the same way that I have been.
Stick is coming into this season having played 11 games in relief of Wentz while he was out with a broken wrist. He says his experience might make his and his team's job a little bit easier.
It's a process, and everybody's kind of working for the same thing and working on themselves and trying to make the unit better, so it's a process.
With last year's seniors gone, new faces will need to step into the leadership role. Senior linebacker Nick DeLuca says he will provide some insight to his teammates and use his experience to his advantage.
I'm just trying to be the best player and best teammate that I can be, and hopefully the rest of that will fall into place as far as being a leader, try to lead by example.
The Bison football team is starting the season with a few key games in mind, including a Week 3 matchup with FBS team Iowa, which could potentially be played under the lights. However, head coach Chris Kleiman says he wants to focus on one game at a time, and he hopes the team will get better week to week. With photographer Kaylee Omeng, Tanner Robinson, Campus News.
The Bison begin the season on August 27th when they will host Charleston Southern. The game is part of ESPN's FCS Kickoff Special. Are you guys going to check out the young guns on the Bison team this summer?
No way, Haley. The Dragons have my heart.
I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the old Bison leaving shapes the new team.
Very true. I'm sure lots of people will be watching. Thanks, Haley. MSUM students get the chance to brush up on their interview skills while enjoying a fancy meal.
Haley Gerlach has more on how students are learning to mind their manners and dine to impress future employers.
For the other person, you can hand
Students learn to pour water,
sip
their soup, and butter their bread, all for the sake of impressing possible employers.
You can find your name tag anywhere here.
MSUM student Kelly Tafe has found this class to be helpful when it comes to being an experienced diner.
And you'll lay it with the folded edge against your waist.
It's really cool because it's hands-on, and so you kind of go through the steps as you go through the meal.
But it isn't always easy to dine with proper etiquette.
To understand why it makes sense, it's no longer complicated.
Kelly says that having the ability to look good in front of employers is a helpful skill to have.
It'll be a good experience to learn how to have a professional meal with an employer or with someone you're interviewing with or someone you're doing business with.
There might be a sorbet served between every
I would like that.
course.
It's not hard to learn these tips when it comes with a tasty meal.
Thank you. I look forward to the food. I think it's good food.
Kelly says that with this experience, it will allow her to be one step ahead of others come job time. With photographer Annie Pearson, Haley Gerlach, Campus News.
This year's etiquette dinner is the 4th since 2013. And that's it for this edition of Campus News. Check out our YouTube page for past episodes.
We'll leave you with one last look at Battleship H2O.
Thanks for watching our final episode, and we'll see you next year.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.